Hope Logan's engagement to Carter Walton had stunned everyone in Los Angeles, but no one more than Liam Spencer himself, presumed dead after a plane crash off the Amalfi Coast. Liam's sudden return weeks before Hope's wedding sent shockwaves through Forrester Creations and shattered the fragile calm Hope had fought so hard to build. Her world, already on unsteady ground, tilted again the moment she laid eyes on him. Bruised, exhausted, but alive, Liam walked back into her life like a ghost refusing to stay buried. Hope had tried to convince herself that moving on was not only necessary but right. Carter was safe. Carter was stable. Carter offered her a love that didn't come with baggage or betrayal. He respected her. He protected her. After months of heartache, false starts, and lonely nights, Carter had been her anchor. When he knelt and offered her a ring, Hope said yes, not because her heart screamed it, but because her mind whispered it was time. But that whisper became a storm the moment Liam showed up. In public, she played it cool. Grateful, shocked, overwhelmed, yes, but firm in her new path. Privately, she was unraveling. Every memory with Liam came flooding back. The highs, the devastation, the way he made her laugh. The way he made her cry. How he always seemed just out of reach and yet never truly gone. Now he was right there, looking at her with the same eyes that once promised forever. Carter sensed it before Hope said a word. The way her voice trembled when she mentioned Liam's name. The way her gaze drifted, caught in some memory only she could see. He told himself to trust her, but trust didn't quiet the thrum of anxiety growing in his chest. Not when Liam, fully aware of the chaos his return caused, stood tall and declared, "I want another chance. I want us back, Hope. I know what I lost. And I'm not walking away this time." Hope didn't answer. She couldn't. Her heart pounded loud enough to drown out every reason Carter made sense. Deacon, ever the cautious father trying to be better, noticed his daughter's torment. One night over drinks at Il Giardino, he laid it out. Don't marry one man if your heart still belongs to another. That's not fair to you, and it sure as hell isn't fair to Carter. His words weren't judgmental. They were real. Hope looked down at her engagement ring, beautiful, flawless, heavy. Ivy Forrester, meanwhile, saw opportunity in chaos. She'd always admired Liam. There was a time, back in Sydney, when she thought they could have had something real. Now, with Hope hesitating and Carter distracted, Ivy decided it was time to stop playing nice. She reconnected with Liam under the guise of friendship, support, understanding, but every gesture, every sympathetic smile, was calculated. She was patient, but not passive. Ivy wasn't going to wait for Hope to make up her mind. She would make Liam feel seen again. Wanted. Needed. Liam, still raw from everything, the crash, the rescue, the emotional aftermath, clung to the comfort of familiarity. Ivy became that for him. She listened without demanding. She offered comfort without conditions. Hope noticed. She saw the old spark in Ivy's eyes. And she felt something sharp twist in her gut, jealousy. Carter wasn't blind either. In the weeks leading up to the wedding, he watched Hope slip away inch by inch. She became distracted, quiet, hesitant about plans they once excitedly made. He confronted her gently. "If there's anything you need to say, say it. I'd rather hear the truth now than find out after I say I do." Hope insisted she loved him. She wasn't lying, but she wasn't telling the whole truth either. The night before the engagement party, Hope stood alone on the Forrester terrace, staring at the stars, wondering how she got here. Two men, one promise, and a heart that refused to choose. She remembered holding Liam's hand in that hospital bed. The way his voice cracked when he said, "I thought of you every day." And then she remembered Carter's steadiness, the man who never walked away, who never made her doubt his love. Was certainty better than passion? Or was passion what made it all worth it? At the engagement party, the air was thick with tension. Everyone felt it. Ridge and Brooke exchanged wary glances. Steffi watched from the corner, arms crossed, waiting for the inevitable implosion. Ivy stood beside Liam, her hand brushing his every so often. Carter stood beside Hope, smiling, but his eyes never left hers, searching for the reassurance that never came. And then it happened. Liam stepped forward. No microphone. No speech. Just raw, unfiltered truth. I wasn't supposed to be here. I know that. But I am. And I can't just stand here and pretend I'm okay with this. Hope, I still love you. I've never stopped. And I think, deep down, you still love me too, gasps, murmurs, eyes wide. Hope froze. The silence stretched thin, ready to snap. Carter turned toward her, waiting. Ivy stepped forward, trying to pull Liam back, whispering, "Don't do this here." But it was already done. Hope's eyes filled with tears. Her lips parted. And then she handed Carter the ring. No words, just the gesture. She turned to Liam, unsure, overwhelmed, but pulled by something too strong to fight. Carter stood still, heart crushed but composed, nodding once. "Thank you for being honest," he said, voice tight. The crowd didn't clap. They didn't know how to react. Ridge looked furious. Brooke tried to mask her satisfaction. Ivy walked away without a word, fists clenched. And just like that, the engagement was over and a new storm had begun. Hope and Liam's reunion was far from simple. They hadn't solved their past. Trust wasn't magically restored. But something between them had reignited something real. Carter, though hurt, didn't lash out. He withdrew quietly, focusing on his work, burying the pain in productivity. Ivy, however, wasn't done. She began a campaign of subtle sabotage, aligning herself with Steffi to keep Hope and Liam's road rocky. If Hope hesitated, Ivy would be there, always ready, always available. Deacon kept warning his daughter. "You made a choice, but choices come with consequences. You can't bounce between men like it's musical chairs." Hope tried to rebuild with Liam. They attended therapy. They revisited their traumas. They confronted their fears. But cracks appeared. Liam still struggled with guilt over past betrayals. Hope wrestled with the fear of repeating old patterns. They wanted a clean slate, but the past wouldn't let them have it. Carter, meanwhile, found unexpected solace in Paris Buckingham, someone who understood heartbreak intimately. Their friendship grew organically. No pressure. No expectations. Just two people nursing wounds. But even then, whispers followed Carter. Still not over Hope, some said. He didn't argue. Ivy played a long game. She befriended Liam's daughter Kelly, volunteered at her school, became a regular presence in his life. Hope noticed, but Liam dismissed it. "She's just helping," he said. Hope didn't buy it. Tensions escalated when Ivy orchestrated a misunderstanding. A photo of her and Liam looking far too intimate made the rounds. Hope snapped. "Is this what I gave up Carter for?" she screamed during a confrontation. Liam was blindsided. "You think I'd cheat again?" The trust they'd been trying to rebuild fractured once more. Brooke stepped in, urging Hope to stop chasing the idea of love and focus on reality. "You had something good with Carter. You threw it away for a maybe." Hope didn't answer. Months passed. The triangle became a quadrangle again. Feelings shifted. Loyalties wavered. And in the middle of it all, Hope stood torn again between the man who held her past and the man who could have been her future. The next big Forrester event loomed, the annual fashion gala. Carter, now CEO of Forrester International, was returning to LA to unveil a new line. Hope would be modeling. Liam would be attending. Ivy would be backstage. Paris would be watching closely. Everyone would be there. And everyone knew, when emotions run high under the Forrester spotlight, anything can happen. And it usually does. Hope Logan had made her decision. After months of emotional chaos, tangled loyalties, and endless second-guessing, she had chosen Carter Walton. She had given up the dream of reuniting with Liam Spencer, the man she had loved for so long, but who had brought her nothing but heartbreak and instability. Carter represented peace, consistency, a future she could rely on. And after everything, Hope needed that more than she needed butterflies. It wasn't easy. Letting go of Liam never would be. But when Ivy Forrester came to her unannounced, standing tall in a sleek black coat and defiant eyes, Hope realized the time had come to truly sever that tie. Ivy didn't mince words. She wasn't there to plead, and she wasn't there to negotiate. Stay away from Liam, she said flatly, arms crossed, voice low. He's not your future. You've made your choice, and now you need to stick with it. I won't let you keep him on a leash while you play happy fiancé with Carter. Hope's instinct was to fight back. But something about Ivy's boldness, her unwavering commitment, struck a chord. Hope stood there silently for a moment before answering, "You're right." Ivy blinked, thrown by the simplicity of the reply. "I'm with Carter now. Whatever Liam and I had, it's over. I want a life I can count on." The words were true. Hope meant them. After all the back and forth, all the pain and longing, she had chosen stability. Carter was preparing the final details of their wedding, and Hope, while still working through lingering emotions, was ready to walk forward. The ceremony would be small, elegant, intimate, just close friends and family. No drama, no spectacle. At least, that's what she believed. What no one saw coming was Liam Spencer. The man who had always been torn between Hope and Steffi, who had lost everything, who had come back from near death this time, he refused to lose again. He had accepted Hope's engagement with quiet anguish. But Ivy's growing closeness, the way she hovered near him like a shadow offering comfort, began to feel more like pressure. And then, the final crack. He saw Ivy and Carter together, whispering about something with grim faces. Something clicked. Liam realized that if he didn't fight now, he'd lose Hope forever. And for once, he wasn't going to walk away. On the morning of Hope and Carter's wedding, the Forrester estate buzzed with preparations. Guests were arriving. Carter stood tall and composed, though tension brewed in his chest. He knew Hope loved him, or at least, he believed she could grow to love him the way he loved her. Everything was in place. Nothing would go wrong. Until Liam arrived. He didn't walk in through the front like a guest. He stormed in through the garden entrance, still in street clothes, heart pounding, rage and love mixing into something explosive. "Hope," he shouted, loud enough to make the music stop. Eyes turned. Murmurs spread. Carter froze mid-conversation. And Hope, standing just beyond the floral archway, turned pale. Liam stepped forward. "Don't do this. You don't love him. You're just trying to forget me. But I'm here, Hope. I'm right here. And I'm not letting you go." The silence was suffocating. Ivy lunged forward, furious. "Liam, stop. You're embarrassing yourself." She chose Carter. Respect that. But Liam wouldn't budge. She didn't choose with her heart, she chose with her fear. "And I won't let fear win." Hope stood trembling. Guests whispered. Carter approached slowly, face tight. "Liam, leave. Don't ruin this for her." But Liam didn't leave. Instead, in a shocking, impulsive move, he grabbed Hope's hand. "Come with me," he said, desperate and intense. "Come with me right now." Time froze. Hope looked at Carter, then at Ivy, then at Liam. Her breath hitched, and then she ran. With Liam. Gasps echoed. Ivy screamed. Carter stood frozen as the woman he was about to marry was whisked away like a scene out of a soap opera turned real. Ivy ran after them, heels clicking furiously, shouting Liam's name. Carter followed, faster, rage fueling every step. The car chase began on the winding roads outside Beverly Hills. Liam's car swerved through traffic, Hope in the passenger seat, overwhelmed and stunned. "What are we doing?" she asked. Liam didn't answer. He just drove. Behind them, Ivy and Carter were close. Ivy gripped the wheel of her SUV like it was her last lifeline. "We're not letting him take her," she hissed. Carter clenched his jaw. This isn't over, but then it was. A sharp curve, wet pavement, a flash of light, a screech. Ivy's car flipped. Hope saw it in the mirror, metal spinning, glass shattering, tires lifting off the road. She screamed. Liam slammed the brakes. They jumped out, running back to the wreckage. Smoke poured from the crushed hood. Carter was half conscious, bleeding from the forehead. Ivy was trapped behind the wheel, a gash across her temple, barely responsive. Sirens wailed in the distance. Emergency services were on their way. Hope knelt beside Ivy, sobbing. This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't supposed to happen. Liam pulled her back. We have to go. They'll be okay, but Hope shook her head violently. No, we stay. We fixed this. We caused this. The ambulance came. Ivy was rushed into surgery. Carter was taken in a separate vehicle, conscious but in critical condition. Ridge arrived at the hospital, then Brooke, then Steffi. The fallout was instant and brutal. Steffi confronted Liam first. You don't get to play hero. You just wrecked our lives again. Brooke turned to Hope. What were you thinking? You ran away from a wedding. You caused a crash. Carter could die. Ivy, I know, Hope whispered. And then she walked away. Not with Liam. Not with anyone. In the days that followed, the media stormed the story. Runaway bride sparks chaos. Forrester wedding turns tragic. Paparazzi stalked the hospital. Carter, miraculously, survived surgery. Ivy was in critical care but stable. She hadn't regained consciousness. Hope refused to see anyone. She stayed away from Forrester. She canceled her appointments. She hid from the press. Deacon visited her apartment, furious but conflicted. You had everything, he told her. And you threw it into a fire. Hope finally broke. I thought I was doing what my heart wanted, but I ruined everything. Meanwhile, Liam faced his own storm. He wasn't a hero. He was reckless. And now Ivy-O had done nothing wrong but to care for him might not walk again. The guilt crushed him. He tried reaching out to Hope, but she shut the door. Carter recovered physically, but the emotional damage was worse. He returned to work early, throwing himself into projects. He refused to speak Hope's name. When Ridge asked if he'd ever forgive her, Carter simply said, "There's nothing to forgive. She never loved me. I was the placeholder." Ivy's condition improved slowly. When she woke, her first question wasn't about her injuries. It was, did he choose her? No one answered. The aftermath shattered every relationship. Hope and Liam didn't reunite. Not right away. Not even close. Ivy began physical therapy with a fierce determination that scared even her doctors. Carter avoided love altogether. He was cordial. He was kind, but something in him had hardened. Hope eventually returned to Forrester, quiet and humble. She spoke to Ivy in private. I'm sorry. I never meant for it to go this far. Ivy didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just stared at her. You always mean well, Hope. That's what makes you dangerous. The line stuck. Months later, Liam and Hope met again. Away from the cameras, the company, the weight of expectations. They talked like old friends. Quietly. Honestly, they didn't talk about forever. Just about now. And that was the beginning of something that a reunion, not yet but a flicker in the ashes. And everyone else, still recovering. Because in Los Angeles, love doesn't just burn. It explodes.
Oh.